Good afternoon.
And welcome to Our Story Girl Melody.
Yes, me glad I tell them welcome. Picnic, let me tell you, me come this afternoon for tell you the story what me grandmother tell me. And when me tell you this story, me want I tell you picnic, and me want I tell you picnic, and I picnic. You understand? Yes. Okay. The first thing me grandmother tell me, she said, if the lion not tell his story, the story of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. Write it down. If the lion not tell his story, the story of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. You have to write it down. All right, picnic. If I'm ready for the lesson, let me tell you. Me want you write down moment and process. Write the word moment because emancipation is a moment and it's a process. Today we celebrating a moment. But guess what? It's not just a moment. Me grandmother said it's a moment and it's a process. She said you're going to spend the rest of your life emancipating yourself. And me want to tell you this. When I hear your story in the beginning of the middle passage. You don't talk your story from the middle passage. And don't talk your story and say you start with slave. You start with slave. You start first as an African. And then it had enslaved Africans. And then you had freed Africans. But guess what? In the enslaved stage, that's what me grandmother said. She said, when they were enslaved, it's the culture they enslaved, and they enslaved their religion from them, and they enslaved their language from them. I write it down. And me grandmother said that them master enslaver, them the smart, because this is how they control them. Let me tell you, me grandmother said, she said she divide and rule them. So if you from one tribe, and you from an next tribe, and you from a next tribe, and y'all speaking the same language, guess what they used to do? They just used to divide up all y'all. Yes, and when they divide up all y'all, then y'all can't talk the language. So guess what happened there? You know, with the Dutch, the Dutch people then bring, these now gonna come together and gonna put something together called pidgin. Yes, pidgin. And guess what? When the pidgin come together, that turn into Dutch Creole. And then when the English come and colonize the place now, that is how you end up now with what we call the Guyanese Creole language. Yes, picnic. Me want you know this story. Let me tell you a next way. Y'all listening? Y'all writing? Yes. The next way. Oh, they try to control them is prevent them from actually worshipping, doing their religion. Remember Obia? You saw people frighten Obia? And they frighten voodoo because they think that Obia and voodoo is bad thing. Then this good thing picnic. It's good thing because that is what the enslavers, the master enslavers, that is what they use picnic. And that is how they enslave your people because they say, you know what, they're going to bring the Christian religion and just Christianize all the people. Me want you know this story. Good. So they couldn't practice their tribal belief. And the next thing what they use is class and system. You don't play biggity on nobody. Don't play biggity. They use biggity on the people. Yes, because this one walking in the house and you walking in the field and you is the water buy. You think you better than she and she thinks she better than you. That is the next thing what they use. Biggity. But they just call it class. Yes, but it's biggity they use on them. And the last one they use picnic is colorism. You know what is colorism? When they think because you nice and black, you ugly. And if you are nice and black, you nice. But let me tell you, picnic, don't let nobody use them this on you. Don't let them use it on you. Don't let them use it on your picnic. Don't let them use it on your picnic. So make sure you're writing it down so you can tell the next generation. Let me tell you about the moment. The moment was a Friday. It was a Friday, August 4th. 1834, yes, and when they hear the news, say they're free, so they start to dance up. Actually, they dance up all night because they really think that they're free. So they dance up the all night, they party the all night. And next month, you know what them people do? Them people tell them, set them in free. If you see how they vex, and because of that, some of them rebel, and they say, you know what? Guess what? Me not care what happened. Me not go back into slavery. That's what they say. But the next morning, they were so disappointed because the situation wasn't what they expect the situation to be. So when they think the slavery, they end that day, that Friday there, they went into a next system for 6 years called apprenticeship, where they had to work for another 6 years. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. They went into apprenticeship. And the one I know Picnic, that the master enslaver, they get paid £52 for every enslaved African. And if the enslaved African was a big thing, you know how much money they get? They get £230 for each head man. Yes, and what do you think your ancestor receive? Not one blind cent. Yes, not one blind cent. But let me tell you, me don't want you think say them sit down and take everything what happened to them. Then they sit down and take it. Me want you remember say they man not take it so, and coffee not take it so, and them one of Barbies they not take it so. They didn't take it so. But when they had them under the apprenticeship Picnic, let me tell you what them do. They walk them, and then they make laws say, even though they're free, they can't leave the plantation. And right then they form the police force Picnic for control them. Yes, that is how they do it. But I want to tell you a little bit about the village. When you see a village, you know the village start? You know the village start? No, let me tell you how the village start. When the cotton business flap. You know what flap mean? What flap mean?
Go down.
Yes, when the cotton business flap, the ancestors decide that they're going to buy the plantation. The first one they buy was Plantation Northbrook. Write it down, boy. Write it down. If you don't write it down, you're going to forget it. Write it down. 83 of them take 30,000 guild out. They all the overtime money. Their blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah, share kinds. Kinds. Can you imagine 30,000 guild kinds? What do you think they fetch it in? What do you think they fetch it in? The hand?
Bucket?
Bucket? No.
No, wheelbarrow.
A wheelbarrow. You see this Picnic know nothing. Yes, they fetch it in a wheelbarrow. That is how they pay for it. And let me tell you, then go on then they buy Litchfield and Golden Grove and Providence and Barbies. But when the master enslaver realized that your ancestor buying the land, they raise the price high on them. Yes, that is what them do. So you know now when they want buy BV, was 61 of them had to come together for buy BV for 22,000. And 128 of them had to come together for buy Buxton for 50,000. But let me tell you see Allen Trench for their West Coast? You see Allen Trench for their Barbies? You see Allen Trench for their all over Guyana? Before 1838, you know who dig Allen Trench?
Slaves.
No, me not tell you already, Picnic, we don't say slaves, we say enslaved Africans. Who dig them?
Enslaved Africans.
Yes, they dig Allen Trench. What do you think them use? They use shovel. What they use?
The hand.
They use the hand. Yes, they use shovel for dig all them trench. But let me tell you, no matter what Picnic, they be proper strong and resilient. So I have to say after me tell you this whole story.
Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. Except for this one. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise.
Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room.
Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides. Just like hope springing high, still I'll rise.
Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries.
Does my haughtiness offend you? Does it come as a surprise that I laugh like I have gold mines digging in my own backyard?
You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your lies. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like dust, I'll rise.
Out of the huts of history shame, I rise. Up from a past that is rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide.
Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise.
Into a daybreak that's miraculously clear, I rise.
Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the hope and the dream of the slave. So naturally, there I go, rising.